The year 2025 has proven to be one of the most difficult years of Rick Harrison's life. To the outside world, he is seen as the unshakable boss of Pawn Stars, the man who built a reality TV empire around his gold and silver pawn shop in Las Vegas. But behind the cameras, things have been very different. He has faced deep personal heartbreak, been surrounded by rumors about possible jail time, and even seen Pawn Stars itself put on pause in February 2025. These struggles are only part of what Rick has been dealing with this year, and because of it, he has noticeably stepped into a low-profile lifestyle. This leaves many fans asking the same question. Where is Rick Harrison now? The answer is not what most people would expect. On January 19, 2024, Rick experienced the greatest heartbreak of his life. That was the day he received the phone call that no parent ever wants to get. His second son, Adam Harrison, died at the age of 39. The results of the autopsy shocked fans and left them with more questions than answers. Many didn't even realize that Adam had been silently battling addiction for years. The report revealed that Adam had passed away from an accidental overdose of fentanyl and methamphetamine while staying in a Las Vegas guest house. Rick, devastated, publicly blamed America's border policies for allowing the drugs that killed his son into the country. Adam's death hit Rick to his core, and the grief has followed him ever since. Still, in 2025, Rick has tried to find ways to cope with his loss, though nothing could truly replace what he lost. Adam had once worked briefly at the family's gold and silver pawn shop, but chose not to remain in the Pawn Stars spotlight. Unlike his brother Corey, Adam wasn't drawn to the constant hustle, long hours, and public attention that came with the pawn shop business. He quietly stepped away, but continued to struggle with drug addiction. Rick knew about his son's challenges and even helped him check into rehab, staying close during his attempts at recovery. Sadly, Adam's problems ran deeper than Rick could fix, and despite all the effort, Adam's struggles eventually consumed him. Interestingly, Rick himself has battled with addiction not to drugs, but to his show, Pawn Stars. Since its debut on July 19, 2009, the program captured audiences with its mix of history, negotiation, and behind-the-scenes drama at the pawn shop. The show quickly became one of the biggest hits on television. By January 2011, Pawn Stars had broken records, becoming the highest-rated program on the History Channel and the second highest-rated reality show overall, only behind Jersey Shore. Rick thrived on that success, and on June 7, 2011, released his biography licensed to Pawn, Deals, Steals, and My Life at the Gold and Silver. The book was an instant hit, reaching number 22 on the New York Times bestseller list by the end of June. However, even with this success, Rick's story is far from perfect. Some of the decisions he has made over the years have damaged his reputation, and those choices have also contributed to making 2025 such a rough year for him. In February of this year, Rick shocked fans when he revealed that the History Channel had not renewed their contract for Pawn Stars. The show, which had inspired spin-offs like American Restoration, Cajun Pawn Stars, and Counting Cars, was suddenly without a network home. Still, Rick refused to call it the end. Instead, he described it as an indefinite pause and hinted at a new evolution of the series, what he called Pawn Stars 2.0. But fans are left wondering, will the show ever come back? Or have we already seen the last of it? The uncertainty has only grown with major changes among the cast. Rick's longtime co-star and close friend, Chumley Austin Russell, has tied his future to Rick's by creating new content outside of History Channel. In February 2025, they launched a podcast called Pawn After Dark. While it is not officially affiliated with History, the podcast allows them to keep fans engaged while avoiding legal complications until filming can resume. Yet not everyone is on board. Rick's oldest son, Corey Bickhoss Harrison, has revealed that he is finished with the show. His decision has sparked speculation. If Corey is gone, could this mean Pawn Stars may never return in its original form? Corey recently confirmed that he isn't in any talks about contract renewals and has no interest in returning. This raised questions about whether something deeper had happened between him and his father behind the scenes. It also isn't the first time the Harrison family has faced internal drama connected to the show. Reports suggests Corey's decision isn't really about Pawn Stars at all. Instead, he has chosen to step away from Las Vegas entirely, moving to Tulum, Mexico. In his own words, "My dad will work until the day he collapses. That's just not me." After filming 22 seasons and seeing his father in Chumley still, deeply attached to the show, Corey decided it was time for a different lifestyle. He packed his bags and left, not for a job in Mexico, but simply to take a much-needed break. Tulum, famous for its stunning Caribbean beaches and well-preserved Mayan ruins, has become his place of retreat. Still, Corey hasn't completely stepped away from ambition. While enjoying his long vacation, he's been working with local investors to open a barbecue business called Big Hoss's Smoking Joint. The question remains whether he has the experience to run a restaurant in the region, but as a recognizable reality TV star, Corey may be relying on his celebrity reputation to attract loyal customers. Interestingly, during his time away from the show, Corey admitted that Pawn Stars wasn't as real as fans thought. He explained that after years of filming, he and the other cast members started playing characters rather than being their authentic selves. He admitted, "I can't play another season of 41-year-old, me pretending to be 23. This confession raises bigger questions. If Corey was playing a character, what about Rick and Chumley? Could it be that the versions of themselves shown on TV weren't entirely genuine? As for Rick in particular, there have been hints that the calm, dependable persona fans know from the show may not always match reality. Despite his years of experience as a pawn shop owner, he has occasionally struggled with patience when dealing with difficult customers. One controversial incident occurred in October 2011, when a 62-year-old disabled Vietnam veteran named Daniel Callahan brought a Model 96B rifle to the gold and silver pawn shop for appraisal. An argument broke out, and Daniel later accused Rick and his father, Richard Old Man Harrison, of putting him in a chokehold, dragging him through the store, and throwing him onto the sidewalk. He filed a lawsuit demanding $20,000 in damages for the injuries he claimed he sustained. Rick and his father denied the allegations, and Corey later stated that, while there was an incident, neither Rick nor the old man were present at the time. According to Corey, Daniel was behaving erratically, and staff feared he might fire the weapon he brought in. They acted quickly to keep everyone safe. Although Rick managed to defend himself against that accusation, it wasn't the only time he has faced criticism. Over the years, he has also been accused of dismissing, belittling, and even disrespecting customers. For a man whose business is built on reputation, these stories show that life behind the counter and behind the cameras can be just as messy as the negotiations. Fans watch on screen. Rick Harrison has always been known for offering customers prices so low that many of them sometimes walked away feeling insulted. A perfect example of this unfolded in an episode of the show titled Another Christmas Story. In that episode, a customer entered the gold and silver pawn shop because he was interested in purchasing an NBA championship ring. On display, Rick had a stunning piece of 1975 Golden State Warriors championship ring, sparkling with diamonds, which immediately caught the customer's attention. What the customer didn't know, however, was that this ring carried deep sentimental value for Rick. He had originally kept it in the shop for his fiancée, whom he later became engaged to. Because of that emotional attachment, Rick was already irritated that someone wanted to buy it. Many might wonder if the ring meant that much to him, why not simply take it off display? Still, Rick went on to provide details about the ring to the potential buyer. Things quickly turned tense when the customer asked if the ring was genuine. Instead of simply taking Rick's word for it, the customer wanted to run his own test, using a personal diamond tester, a fairly reasonable request. But Rick didn't see it that way. He was visibly frustrated and even fuming at the idea that someone would doubt his word. The customer proceeded with the test anyway and confirmed that the diamonds were indeed real. Once the authenticity was settled, Rick set the price at $11,000. While the customer offered just $5,500, Rick refused to budge, and the deal fell apart. The customer left the store not only disappointed but also shaken. He later admitted that Rick's confrontational attitude made him feel as though Rick might actually beat him up. That customer wasn't the only one to walk away with such feelings. On June 22nd, another buyer came into the gold and silver pawn shop. What should have been a routine transaction quickly spiraled out of control. Everything started off normally, but during the negotiation, Rick lost his temper. The discussion escalated into a heated argument, and soon it became more than just words. According to reports, Rick allegedly threatened to beat up the customer. Alarmed for their safety, the individual left the store, but did not let the matter slide. News of Rick's arrest shocked fans everywhere. Many couldn't believe that the Rick Harrison they thought they knew, the shrewd but level-headed businessman from Pawn Stars, could lose his cool to the point of threatening a customer. Court Rick pleaded guilty to the charges, publicly expressed regret, admitted he was ashamed of his behavior, and promised to be more professional moving forward. His sentence included 2 years of probation and 30 days of community service. Although his case was relatively minor compared to other scandals tied to the show's cast, it still chipped away at his reputation. Fans began to realize they might not know Rick as well as they once believed. Around the same time, another major scandal rocked the Pawn Stars family, this one involving Austin "Chumley" Russell. The show's comic relief. In March 2016, police received a call alleging that Chumley had sexually assaulted a woman. Officers raided his Las Vegas home to investigate. While they didn't uncover evidence of sexual assault and filed no such charges, what they did find was shocking. Inside Chumley's house, police discovered crystal meth, marijuana, Xanax, antidepressants, and a stash of firearms, some legal, others not. As a result, Chumley was arrested and hit with 20 felony counts. When the story broke, fans were stunned. Chumley had always been portrayed as the goofy, lighthearted member of the team, but now he was facing serious charges. The show's family-friendly image suffered a huge blow. Chumley temporarily left Pawn Stars and later struck a plea deal in May 2016. He pled guilty to a felony weapons charge and a misdemeanor attempted drug possession charge. The court sentenced him to 3 years of probation, during which he had to stay out of trouble until 2019 if he wanted his felony record cleared. He was also required to attend counseling and surrender his firearms and drugs in order to avoid jail time. Fortunately for him, Chumley complied with the conditions, returned to the show, and hasn't been arrested since. But while Chumley stayed on the straight and narrow, his friend and co-star Corey Harrison did not. Corey, often seen as a smooth talker and skilled negotiator, gave fans the impression that he was unlikely to land in serious trouble. That illusion was shattered in 2023. Late one night, around 2 a.m., Corey was spotted driving his white Ford pickup near Main Street and Charleston Boulevard, swerving between lanes. Concerned, a police officer pulled him over. The officer immediately noticed the smell of alcohol on Corey's breath and saw that his eyes were red and watery. Corey denied heavy drinking, insisting he had only had one drink 7 hours earlier. Still, the officers asked him to step out of the vehicle and perform a field sobriety test, which he failed. Corey was arrested on the spot and taken to jail. Unfortunately for him, the breathalyzer at the jail was malfunctioning, so police drew a blood sample instead. After making bail, Corey was released, and his case never went to trial. Still, the incident raised questions. Could Corey have been dealing with the same kind of addiction struggles that once plagued Adam? Could this be the beginning of more family drama surrounding Rick's family? Family drama certainly wasn't in short supply. In 2022, Rick's own mother, Joanne, accused him of stealing from her and filed a lawsuit against him. What shocked fans most was her claim that Rick wasn't even the rightful owner of the gold and silver pawn shop. According to Joanne, she was the true owner. She explained that when her husband Richard opened the shop in 1989, she held 51% of the business, while Richard held 49%. Years later, in the early 2000s, when she became seriously ill and hospitalized, Rick allegedly brought her documents to sign. In her weakened state, she said she didn't fully grasp that she was signing over her controlling stake in the business to him. After Richard Harrison passed away in 2018, Joanne believed she had inherited his 49% and thus owned 100% of the pawn shop. In her view, Rick was merely her employee and should have been transparent with financial documentation. But she claimed Rick refused to share records, mismanaged company assets, and even took out a $3 million loan using her assets as collateral. She further alleged that he failed to account for $100,000 in cash and $500,000 in silver that Richard had owned before his death. Her accusations went further. According to Joanne, Rick had been paying her a monthly allowance of $25,000, which he later reduced to $20,000 and then to just $85,000. For the entire year of 2020, during the COVID-19 pandemic, eventually she claimed he stopped payments altogether, leaving her struggling to cover $15,000 in monthly medical expenses. In March 2022, Joanne escalated the feud by filing a temporary restraining order. She wanted to prevent Rick from moving money, selling assets, or cutting off her income. Rick downplayed the lawsuit, claiming Joanne was being manipulated by others and that her accusations were false. He insisted he had always acted in the best interest of the business and even tried to talk things out with his mother, but those conversations went nowhere. Since then, little has been revealed publicly about the case, leading some to wonder if it was settled privately. Despite the controversies and negativity, Rick seems to have found personal happiness. In 2024, just a year after his son's death, Rick proposed to his girlfriend, Angie Polashkin. During a romantic trip to Chile's Casablanca Valley, the couple, who began dating in January 2020 for shortly after Rick's divorce from his fourth wife Amanda Palmer, has an 18-year age gap, but appear completely in sync. They enjoy traveling the world together and often share their adventures online. Rick proposed with a 6.5-carat pear-shaped diamond ring from his pawn shop, making this his fifth engagement after 4 failed marriages. Fans were delighted by the announcement and hopeful that this new relationship would bring stability to his life. Rick has been through countless ups and downs, many of them caused by his own actions, but it seems he is now in a better place. The big question that lingers is whether this 5th attempt at marriage will finally be the one that lasts, or if Rick will once again fall back into the playboy lifestyle that some believe defines him.